Hi everyone, welcome back to Java 1 for All. And in this video, we are going to talk about something that almost all programming languages they have to offer: comments. So comments are just like the name implies, comments that you can type, and it's basically just a way for you to tell other developers or other human beings that the piece of code where you are putting the comments is going to do something. It's just something to describe what you are trying to achieve, or describe something that's going to happen in that specific part of the code. So we have three types of comments in Java. The first one is the inline comment, and this is the syntax, just slash slash double slash, and everything on the right side of this slash is a comment. So for example, I can type anything and it will be completely ignored by the compiler. What does it mean that is going to be completely ignored? If I build this project by pressing Ctrl F9 and I go into my out package, actually let's say folder, not package, and just to be sure I will reload from disk, and when I open the .class file, I'm decompiling, as you can see here. As you can see, there is no comment, because comments is something that is just for you, for me, for other developers, and usually we use to describe something that's going to happen or some decision that was made. The second type is multiple line comments. So you just have this syntax, as you can see here is a slash and then star, and then you close, and everything that you have in between will be completely ignored. So there is a famous book actually written by Uncle Bob, that's called Clean Code. I highly advise you guys to read it, because it will greatly improve your programming skills and the way you write code. In one of the topics, he says that comments are not good, that in general your code that you are writing should be explanatory enough, so people just reading your code should understand what it's trying to achieve. So you will see, and in most places that I've worked before, they do not have comments. They do have some inline comments to explain some decisions that happened. For example, because sometimes your manager or someone with power will tell you that a specific piece of code needs to do something, even if it seems wrong. So let's just give a simple example. Imagine that, for example, you have to accept negative numbers for salary. It doesn't make any sense, for example, because usually your salary is something that should be positive, but it's something that was decided, and if some new developer or someone else is reading your code, they will probably try to understand why your code is accepting negative numbers, your salary is accepting negative numbers. And this is a really good example where you can type inline comment and maybe a link to a documentation, or just explain why it's happening that way. So this kind of multiple line comments is usually a very bad practice, because developers, they tend to change the functions, change the behavior, the code, and they forget completely to change what's written in the comments section. So it's pretty common for you to see stale comments that probably hurts more than help other people. So let's keep this like this. And the third type, actually that's the type of comment that in my opinion you should be writing all the time, but there are some people that disagree, is the Java docs, the official comment that in the end it can become like a documentation. We do have some tools that will generate documentation based on the Java doc in your project. And the syntax is pretty simple, just slash star star, and then you press enter, and this is a Java doc. How do you know? First, because of the syntax that has 2 stars after slash, and IntelliJ will show this button that's the rendered view. You can press Ctrl Alt Q to see the results. And this is like multiple line comments. You can put anything you want. and you do have some markup language. You can use a little bit of HTML here. So for example, we can type this is the class hello DevDojo, and this is, let's use B. JavaDoc B stands for bold, so you will see this when we render. Control Alt Q, that now we have JavaDoc bold. So this is extremely useful, especially because sometimes if someone else is accessing your code, we are going to see more details in future trainings, but let's say, for example, that someone is trying to access this class and they would like to understand what this class does. So we can give a pretty nice example. If you take a look at the string class right here, what does the string do? If you just select and press Ctrl B as beta, or just hold Ctrl and left click, you will see that we have a huge JavaDoc explaining what is the string class and a lot of resources. So you can see the rendered view. That's a bit better. This is an IntelliJ feature, and it has a nice explanation about what this class is. And if you keep scrolling down, you will see that for each variable, each method, everything in this class is highly documented. And this is something, in my opinion, you should do in your own project as well, because it helps greatly other developers that are starting in the project. So there are some annotations that you can use, but honestly, we don't have to go all the way there, because with a quick Google search, you can understand everything, or just check these classes. So another useful way of having these docs, for example, take a look at this. You don't know what method is yet, but for example, I don't know what println do or means, or what's going to do. If I do the same as I did, hold Control left click or Control B, you will see that we do have some nice Java docs explaining what's the parameter that they're expecting and what this is going to do, this function, this method. And then if you on IntelliJ you press Ctrl Q or just hover over, you will see that same documentation in a nice window. So this is the power of JavaDoc documentation. So while when you have something like this, it will not show up in if you have another class or someone else is using your source code as a library like we are doing here. So I think that's it. This is what we have to talk about comments. In general, my advice is try to be as descriptive as possible when you are writing your own code. So you won't see me write any comments, but we will see that my variable names, for example, it will be pretty self-explanatory. So I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video. Bye.